In this one I have an array of different packs and Bergens, and some short backs, long backs, some are infantry issues, some aren't, but they're mostly the kind of packs everyone would have for the bug out bag, or field packs. Some field packs, some can be adapted for bug out, but there's only one that I have two of. We'll go through them one at a time quickly, and then at the end I'll show you the pack that is a duplicate of one of these, because I have two of the same. As this is the closest to me, we're going to start with this one here. This one is the Turtleback Royal Engineers field pack, and you'll be transporting your mortars and your rounds to the lads on the front line. Nowadays, sandbags, and just run them out to the field. In those days, everything you'd need a pack for. Now this has been modified, it's been adapted with extra pockets and pouches, and it has ended up being a field pack for a craft hobby that I have, and it's a bloody good pack. This is one I'm keeping. So the Royal Engineers All Arms Bergen over Turtleback, 60 litres, 2 rocket pockets. That one's been modified. Got one on this side, so that's 60, 70, 80. I've also sewn on waterproofs, pocket and 2 utilities. Has strapping at the top and the bottom if you want to keep your sleep system externally, which is advisable. The straps on the top that will easily house a tent. Down at the bottom, straps for maybe a pad, so everything that can go into your Bergen will fit in there. I also have the ability to stow a sleeping bag on the top, which would free up 25 litres. Now, like I said in the beginning, some of these are for hobbies, and this is one of them. I wanted a pack that has the ability to house buckets, because my hobby would include having a bucket. So that is a big trug bucket, 25 litres. It's not even the small builder's buckets, which are about 10 to 14 litres. So a day down at the river, got my waterproofs in there, put my basher in there if I want a shelter, even get my lunch in there with a hot flask and a stove and all the tools I need. Now, all these packs have been reviewed in their individuality on different videos. You just have to go through the playlist, find it, and if you want, if it helps, I'll share my thoughts and opinions with you there. It does have an alloy frame, albeit mine has been removed from the sleeve here. Because I've got a bucket, I don't need a big alloy frame, but that is a huge capacity even compared to the CS95 Infantry Bergen, where I removed all the components from the CS95 Bergen and got it all into the Turtleback. But right now it is a pack for my hobby, which involves having a bucket, a pry bar, some tools and a little pan like that, and everything I need fits into that. And there's still room on the inside, even with all my tools on the inside, for a very small tent sleeping bag, or I can pop a sleeping bag and tent on the top and underneath. And the side rocket pockets will also house additional equipment that I'm going to need. A sluice box like that with the rubber matting. That's enough clues from that hobby. But if I do want to do an overnighter down by the river, remember I need to put my waders in here as well. Nice warm coat, plenty of room. Yeah. And pockets here for that sluice box. So these packs, like I said in many of my videos, don't always think it's all about bug out. A lot of us have different hobbies and interests. If you're a builder, you might even consider one of these with your trug bucket in, or your gorilla bucket. Put all your tools in, 30 quid. You're going to get it for around that price. This is the all arms Turtleback, and it's a brilliant pack, but do I have two of them? That's the thing. Next on the list is the Combat UK Mini Bergen. Molly on the front, rocket pockets, detachable just like a Bergen. It's very similar to a Bergen actually, with usual top lid and everything, but all in all that's 50 litres. Again, this has a different function other than camping. This is more akin to a Bergen, so it's more akin to a backpack than a ruck. A ruck will go around your hips, so your hip bone push down, you'll feel that. Your belt has to be underneath the top of your hip bone, as where a Bergen like this or have kidney pads, and they go over the top of your hip bone. And the pad itself, very very thin, no padding at all there. And although it has kind of load lifters, which are these things at the top behind your head where the hood is, they're not really load lifters, they just pull onto your back. Combat UK make this 50 litres all in, plenty for an overnight field pack. I find it doesn't carry very well at all. There's a lot of drag on shoulders, even with a kidney pad rather than a hip belt. And the difficulty I found with this, even when it's all toddled up, it still leaves your kit exposed because the snow collar here is just too narrow. It doesn't cover anything here, so make sure everything in your pack has a waterproof liner, dry bag, something like that. A pad. Now this is one of the biggest I could find, just for demonstration reasons. Of course I have smaller air pads, but it'd be pointless doing a review of any of these packs if all I'm going to do is put small kit in big bags. And also a sleeping bag. This is one I just got off the car boot. It's 3 Season Carp Fishing by NGT, but it was only £2, so I'm not going to moan at that. So it has a capability, large sleeping bag, large pad if that's what you want. But on the subject of getting that sleeping bag from the car boot, like a little yard sale for you American guys, but on a much bigger scale. Hundreds of acres of cars pull up, put all your stuff out. I got this pack from there for about £7. This is £100 brand new, and this is like new, there's not a scratch on it. So this is, again, is a hobbyist pack for me. This is my car boot pack, so I don't have the camping related items in this. I've tried, I'm just not keen. So this goes on my back, go around the car boot sale, and anything I find I can put into here. So again, totally different function to a bug out bag, a field pack, a craft pack, anything like that. So you've got to really open up your imagination to what you'd have in that. Is this the pack I have two of though? This is the Combat UK 50 litre, very similar to the Pre. Gonna have a look at this one here. It's a vintage pack. It's more like a ruck, although it does have kidney pads and not a hip belt, so I can wear this quite high up. The weight is being supported on my hips, not my shoulders. This one is by Burke House. It is the Cyclops.Crusader. Burke House brand there. Now it was Burke House who was said to have came up with the very first Bergen, which inspired the other Bergen, the CS95, but to be quite honest, they're worlds apart, the CS95 and this in comparison, absolute worlds apart. Has the capability of putting on side rocket pockets. So it's 90 litres, there's nothing this won't hold. So this could be a bug out bag, certainly a good field craft pack, wildcraft pack if you're looking for the bigger 90 litre. Of full reviews on each of these, we're just looking at which one I could possibly have two of. I can put anything I want in, from, you know, tents that are not really designed for trekking. The kind of tents I would have in here wouldn't be the trekking tents, which are hyper light, hyper compact and very expensive, but if you have a kind of a budget tent, say £100 or under, they're invariably a lot heavier and take up a little more space. You might have a big two-man Vango like I have that goes in here, a treat, with a sleeping bag and pad under it, cook set and food either side. Does the job. So is this pack the one that I have two of, or will it be one of the others? So this one is the classic CS95 Infantry Bergen, although you just would not recognise it. It has been that modified. I've put waterproofs pocket, utilities, side meshing and external frames. That is a big chunky hip pad. This is the long back, totally different carry to the short back, even unmodified. Given the choice, always go for the short back. Doesn't even matter if you're tall, it's got nothing to do with how tall you are, short back, long back. But then again, a short person would struggle with a long back, but a short back can be carried by anyone of any height. So this is another thing I didn't like. It was a long back. I just have a preference for short backs, so it really didn't matter. And like I said, I modified it so it's almost unrecognisable. But for me, the comfort from this vintage frame sat alongside a Molly Recon 2 harness system and proper hip belt, not kidney pad, large pads, alloy frame. This is going to be not a wild camping pack, but kind of a hobo set. So I've got a big frame tent that otherwise wouldn't fit in any other Bergen. That can be underslung now because the actual pack itself sits much higher than the hip belt. So if my hips are here, the pack starts up here, as where with backpacks it's on the same level. Your hips are on the same level with the bottom of the pack, but this one, it's a lot higher up the pack, you see. So in that space, by the nape of my back, I can put quite a heavy tent. I have the ability to strap a sleeping bag to the top here, leaving about 65 litres of occupation on the inside. Roll mats, as you see, water, everything need cook set, waterproofs, because it's so modified, it's more versatile. So for me, the comfort of it, the long back CS95 is terrible, absolutely bloody terrible. I hate it. I did have a short back, regretted getting rid of it now, heavily modified that, and I sold that sold in almost overnight, and I let a few quid go on it as well. Somebody got a right little bargain and I miss it, but I don't miss the long backs, so it had to go on to a better frame. I chose an external frame. It's been tailored, and now the load carry is absolutely phenomenal. It'll carry a lot of weight, although I don't put a lot of weight in it. The tent I have in this is somewhere around, I think, 5.5 kilos, and so it's a car camping motorcycle tent. It's huge, it doesn't compact any less than that. I think of it as an inch pack, you know, inch, I'm never coming home. I've got a really good strong tent because I don't want to spend the rest of my life under a tarp. For a few days, for a bug out bag, a tarp is just fine, just fine. You've only got 72 hours, and bug out bags are generally set for 72 hours, a bit like the British Army CMO, complete equipment, marching order. You'd have everything you need for 3 days, and a lot of bug out bags are based on CMO, but this is hobo, so yeah, or an inch pack, never coming home. It carries amazingly well, but is this a pack I would have 2 of? Soldiers actually hated this pack and swore they would never use it. They'd go in to retain the CS95, and a lot of people did. A lot of soldiers did, which left the market flooded with these things. The Vertis Bergens, now there is a Mark 1, there's a Mark 2, there's this, which is the GU. So for wild camping, or you're fishing, or a hobby down by the river, your telescope, whatever your hobby is, a fieldcraft pack, I'd get one of these, Makes a brilliant bug out bag. I have a complete CMO in here, sleeping bag, bivvy bag, the pad, stove set, the basher, waterproofs and warm kit. Enough food in here for as many days as I want, depending on how I use it. Doesn't have side pockets. What a fantastic pack if it's used properly. This is terrible for a bladder system, so I've opted for a bottle system. I'm going to show you very, very quickly what's inside, and then we'll carry on. Triple access entry, which is bottom entry, mid clamshell entry, and also it's a top loader just like any conventional pack. In the top hood here you can put all your electronics, because behind this pouch is an insulator, all the molly you want, mapping pocket on the front. Let's open the mid clamshell. So this is the mid clamshell, and of course it's on a breakaway zip. That's my sleep system. By the side of it I have a pouch here. Now that can be mollied on if I wanted, but no need. Usually a stove set and rations go into that, next to a sleeping bag, comfort -10. In the front, another pocket. That is my tarping kit. Pull that out and get shelter very quickly. Down at the very bottom, which some people call a sleeping bag compartment, I don't actually do that. I loose fill a bivvy bag. In here is my warm kit, and I've actually been argued with that you don't need a warm kit. Well, if you're bugging out and you hit them cold temperatures, then listen to idiots. Don't put yourself a warm jumper in, don't put yourself warm socks in, don't save yourself some weight and space, just be cold. You know, I've no interest in being cold, so I have everything I need. It's similar now to a bug out bag that uses British Army CMO. Now some people prefer MTP, some people prefer DPM. I have both, so if you don't like one video because it's not your camo, find another video on my channel that is, or better still, somebody else's video, because I don't make a living through doing these videos. It's just a hobby that I'm sharing with you, and editing and filming I enjoy doing. So as a lot of people get bent out of shape thinking I'm some sort of YouTube millionaire. It doesn't work like that. I make no money. This channel is run by the kindness of strangers donating, and it keeps the channel ticking over until such a day I get totally fed up with doing this channel, which will be soon for me. But this here, Vertis GU, Molly compatible, 90 litres, full Cajora, capability of additional literage with side rocket pockets, holds your full CMO and more. So if you want to build a bug out bag based on CMO, complete equipment marching order, with all the components you're just saying, with additional availability to add more bushcrafty things and field preps, that will be down to you. This is one amazing pack. It doesn't have a hip belt, so I've had to modify one, but it carries amazingly well. If you can just keep the water out the pack, maybe put it on shoulders or on a hip belt, even better. I've got this pack working the way I like it. I hated it at first. I didn't know if I was going to keep it or not, but now I like it because I know how to use it. But have I got two of them? This is Dutch Army issue. So there are very, very small similarities and pretty small differences also, but a huge capacity, absolute monster of a pack which dwarfs the British CS95 in relation. Front Molly compatible again, full videos on these things. Have rocket pockets here, again they don't look the full 10 litres, I think they're somewhere around 8 litres. Adequately padded harness for your shoulders. Unlike the CS95 which has kidney pads, this does have a full hip belt. I can get one hell of an amount of kit into that regarding literage, bulk or weight. So hot tent, the stove, all the stovepipes, sleeping bags, deer hides to sleep on, things like that. Might be a little too big to move quickly with for a bug out bag, but it's all up to personal choice. For me, that has always been the intention of making it into a hot tent pack for winter. And the British Army FEXCA modular system fits in that a treat, all combined, which is bigger than you think, even in relation to the American MSS sleep system, which is also huge. But the Americans put their MSS sleep system externally of the pack. This is a pack that would easily accommodate the full FEXCA British modular sleep system, if you're in the market for something like this. Full ladder, so you don't need to modify it at all anywhere. But have I got two of these? On the right is the Cadet Bergen 50 litres. I've only just put a helmet carry on the front there, which I put a roll pad through rather than the helmet. This would be a wild camping pack rather than this Combat UK. So that would be just my choice. So I have air pad that has to go in there, and again for demonstration only and because I want to test it, the NGT fishing sleeping bag. Goes without saying, use a pack liner to keep things dry, but for sake and speed of filming, I'm loose filling the Cadet pack. You can get a ton of kit in here, absolute ton of kit, and I actually prefer it for a wild camp using the Cadet pack than I ever have using the CS95. It's overkill is what I'm saying for most situations. The CS95, big air pad, I just have tons of room. I could even put my little electric blanket in there as well if I wanted. So of course I'm just bulking this pack out for demonstration purposes. Now if you do want to put water and food in your pack rather than on the webbing, that's going to be your choice and your choice only. In the same way, my choice would probably be some kind of webbing, even if it's just water bottles on a hip belt, even if it's only that. Although I love it to bits, have I got two of them? Under this veil are two identical packs. The Cyclops Crusader does have the full rockets, but this one on the right stays intact, pre-packed. This one I swap and change. I am in no way saying it is the best. It can't be beaten by other packs or preferred by other people with other packs. It's a personal preference, and that's what I always do in bexbugoutsurvivor. I give you options so you can choose for yourself. I don't treat you like you're 4 years old by saying things like the world's best bug out bag, because it's a preference to the person who made that video. It's an opinion from someone who's got lower back problems, someone who yet wants the same durability as a pack that would be twice the weight of this, such as the CS95 Infantry PLCE. I think a bug out bag should be built on personal requirements, whether you're a warm sleeper, a cold sleeper, whether you want to be a minimalist, or you feel you need one of everything. They're personal choices. How do you know your kit works? Take it out for the weekend and test it. You'll soon realise what it is you've got too much of, what it is that you can do without. I don't think prepping is a skill. I think you buy the kit and you're more like a snail with your home on your back. It's all pre-built for you. So that's why I don't need axes and saws to stay warm and sheltered, because I have the warmth and shelter here. It's just food for thought, this is, and really that's all it is. Use your imagination and then test it. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you out there. Happy trails.